Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chicken Possible with Rewards Hunter back with part 5 of the Venba series. So this is the series where we work through all of the achievements in this game and grab a bunch of Microsoft Rewards points along the way. If you haven't watched parts 1 through 4, those will be linked in the description so you can get caught up and grab all the achievements that we've previously grabbed in this game. As always, I'm going to be breaking this up over 3 separate days so that we can get 3 separate achievements on 3 separate days. And these will all count towards the Earn an Achievement in Game Pass Daily Quest for 5 points, which does appear to be working again now, thank goodness, so that's good news. And every one of these daily achievement quests that you finish will help you towards your monthly points, which are currently 625 for the Quest Beginner, Quest Dedication, and Quest Completionist quests. So let's go ahead and get started in Venba, and we're going to take a quick look on the achievement tracker. The very last achievement that we got in part 4 was the achievement for Fermented Feelings, for basically finishing the game, for finishing cooking the dosas. So we've got 3 more to go back and grab. If you followed along perfectly with me, you should have these 3 achievements left to get. And the one we're going to work on for the day 1 achievement is Flavor Text. So let's go ahead and go to the chapter select. So instead of continuing with our game, we're going to go to the chapters section, and we're going to go to chapter 2. And we should be able to get the final flavor text on this level. There's one that I skipped over in this level, and that's pretty handy because we can basically break this out into a separate achievement for today. So you'll have about 3 minutes of dialogue to go through again at the beginning of chapter 2 before you get to the recipe, but we're just going to get right back into this recipe. And we're going to click on the book so that we can look at the recipe book. You can press B then, and this should look familiar. We've done this a couple of times at this point. So let's go ahead and grab the soaked rice and put it into the blender over on the left-hand side. And then we're going to turn the blender on to blend the rice again like we did previously. We're going to take the blended rice and put it into the sieve. And then we're going to shake it over the towel like it said at the bottom of the screen there. And this should all look familiar to you. We've just got one more flavor text in the second half of this recipe that we're going to get. But let's put the remaining rice chunks into the blender and blend those. And then we'll sift it through the sieve again, just like we did. So you have to do this a total of 3 times to finish up this first half of the recipe. So we'll put the last chunks in, blend it one more time, and then sift it one more time. So shake all that rice flour out, and once the sieve is completely clean, then you can let go of that. And we're going to take the bundle of rice flour and put it into the water, and that finishes up the first half of the recipe. And then as soon as we get into the second half of the recipe, that's when we can get that one flavor text that you're most likely still missing. So we don't really have to do much of anything here. We're just going to click on the book, you can press B, and as soon as you page through this first set of dialogue here, then you could press Y, and we're going to go to the other garnishes. So that is the one flavor text that we did not finish up yet. So if you page through that one, then that should help you to earn the flavor text achievement, assuming you got all the ones that were previously shown in the other videos. So at this point, you can just go to the menu and go to Quit. And as soon as you get back to the main menu, then you should get the flavor text achievement. So that is our day 1 achievement. And then for our day 2 achievement, the one that we're going to work on here, it seems like you should already have this one. It's called Paavalan Would Be Proud, for getting 3 other achievements that we've already completed. But most likely you're still needing to get this one since we just finished the flavor text achievement. So I'm going to show you the best way I've found to make the game unlock this one for us. So we're going to again go to the chapter select, but this time we're going to select chapter 1, the very first chapter of the game. And I'm going to cut out the sort of introductory part of the story here, but it'll take you about 2.5 minutes to get through the first part of the story before you get back to that first recipe. So I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit there, and we'll get into the first recipe, and we're going to go through this recipe basically again the same way we did the first time. We're just going to make sure that we click on all of the flavor texts again, as we go through it. So click on the book, go through the dialogue, and then we're going to start making the idlis here. So click on About Idlis and how it is made. That's the first flavor text. And then we're going to press Y again and go to About Idlis again and go to How is it served. And once you've got those two, then we can go ahead and start making them. So we're going to put the towel onto the idli plate. We're going to put the batter onto the idli plate and move it into the cooker, and then rotate to where there are 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom again. This should all look familiar as well. And we're just going to repeat that same process for the second tier. And once again, rotate it around to where there are 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. And then we'll repeat for the third tier. So we're basically doing everything exactly the same as we did the first time, putting the water in and putting the lid back on. And we're just making sure to get the flavor texts here. And basically just by kind of repeating this process and repeating this recipe, the game sort of checks for all the achievements that you've previously grabbed, and it notices that it needs to give you this one for Paavalan Would Be Proud. So as soon as you finish cooking the idlis, then you should get that achievement right there. So that is our day 2 achievement. So for our day 3 achievement, we're going to go back to the chapter select, and we're going to go back to chapter 2 one last time, and there is one additional missable achievement that we can get on this level. So we're going to go back through it, and I'm not going to show the whole recipe again or all of the cutscenes because you should be familiar with all of these at this point. So you'll need to go through the dialogue, you'll need to go through the first half of the recipe here, and when we get to the second half of the recipe, this is where we can get that achievement. So I'll walk you through that here. So what we're going to do is click on the book first, and then just press B. And we are going to put the ingredients in sort of backwards from the way that we did it previously. So we're going to put 1 scoop of the putu flour in, and then 2 scoops of the coconut flour. And then 1 scoop of the putu flour again, and then 2 more coconuts. So like I said, this is the opposite pattern that we used to correctly make this last time, and this will force a separate achievement. So let's put all that into the mold just like that. We're going to put the water into the bottom of the kettle, and then we're going to move the mold onto the kettle and put the top on, move the whole kettle over onto the cooker, and we'll turn that on at the lower right, and that should show the characters trying to launch the putu, and then it just kind of crumbles. And that is the last achievement that we're looking to get right there. So as soon as that finishes and you get back to this screen, you should get that final achievement for Vada Poche right there for launching a crumbling putu. So that is the final achievement in Venba. So there were only 15 achievements for this game, so we got through it fairly quickly and easily in just 5 weeks. But hopefully you all enjoyed that one, and if you want to take a quick look on the achievement tracker, you should see that you got 15 out of 15 achievements in the game and 1,000 gamer score. So if you did miss any of the flavor texts, you can just go back through any of those recipes that you might have missed them in and repeat those parts just with the flavor texts and click on those to get that last achievement if that might be the one that you're missing. But hopefully those all worked out for you all and you enjoyed that game as much as I did. So the next game that I'm looking at most likely using for this is a game called Tome, which is also on Game Pass. So I look forward to sharing that with you, starting to share that with you in 2 weeks from this week. And we'll get started on Tome and grab a bunch of achievements in that game. So I will look forward to seeing you all in those guides. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you found that video helpful, please be sure to click the subscribe button here on YouTube and hit the bell for notifications. You can also find some helpful links in the description if you want to stay connected. Stay tuned for more Microsoft rewards and achievement guides, and I'll see you in the next one.